All right, let's start using React Testing Library. So we're going to import a couple of things from React Testing Library to do some of this boilerplate stuff for us. In particular, let's import render from testing library /React. Great, and with render now, I can call render instead of React DOM.render. So I'll just take this, ditch the React DOM part. Now we're calling render from React Testing Library. And with render, you can provide your own base element if you want to, but we don't want to do that. We don't need to do that. It defaults to a new div, just like what we were doing before anyway. So I'm just going to ditch all that, get rid of all that. And now we're just rendering this to our document.body. And as we're rendering this, React Testing Library will keep track of all the divs. And as we're rendering this, React Testing Library will actually keep track of all the divs that it's creating, and it will remove those divs from the document.body, as well as unmount the components that were rendered. And so it does all of this cleanup stuff, and it does this automatically. So we can just get rid of this, and we no longer need to worry about cleanup. The cleanup will happen for us automatically by React Testing Library, which is totally rad. This also means that we can get rid of the React DOM import, so I'll do that now as well. And now we just need to clean up everything here. We've got our div right there that we were creating before. So what we could do is make our own div like we had before and use that and pass it as the base element option. But that's not really necessary because React Testing Library will also return an object of utilities, or you might call this object the view. And the view is going to have a container. So we could have our div equals view.container. Or we could do some destructuring magic here, do container and alias that to div. And that will work just as well. So if we save that, then we have a passing test. Sweet, so now we're rendering with React Testing Library. I'm gonna go ahead and swap this from div dot to container dot, so I don't have to do this alias there, and that should still continue to work. Sweet, so since we're testing with React Testing Library, we no longer need to create the div ourselves and put that into the body and then clean up after ourselves. All of that is going to happen for us automatically when we call render. It creates the div, it renders that using React DOM.render, just like what we were doing before, and it returns that container div as the container property of the view object that we get back. And then we can use that to query around like we were doing before, but don't worry, we're going to do something even better here pretty soon. And then on top of all of that, React Testing Library will also make sure that this component is unmounted and the div that it created was removed from the DOM between every one of our tests. So we don't have to worry about cleanup.